The space station floated silently above the gas giant. It was supposed to be a peaceful meeting ground, neutral territory between species that didn't trust each other. But today, something was wrong. Eli Carter, a human engineer, wasn't even supposed to be on that level. He was only trying to fix a broken coolant pipe when he took the wrong turn. The signs were in alien symbols, glowing faintly blue, and he didn't realize his mistake until the door slid open and the alarm screamed. Inside the room, 12 diplomats from the powerful Zurathi Empire stood in a perfect circle. In the center of them stood Princess Viral, the first daughter of the Empress, wearing ceremonial armor made of shimmering crystals. Her face turned sharply toward Eli, her golden eyes narrowing like knives. Time froze for a second. Eli's boots clicked once. On the polished black floor. That sound echoed like a gunshot in the silence. He raised his hands, confused and nervous. Before he could speak, the Zurathi guards pointed long spears at him. But Princess Viral held up her hand. The guards stopped. She tilted her head slightly. Curious, then she looked down at the glowing light pattern between her and Eli. A moment passed. Her eyes widened. She stepped forward slowly and said one word in Galactic Common, "Husband." Eli blinked. "What?" 2 guards grabbed his arms. The third shouted something Eli didn't understand. He struggled a little but didn't resist. "Fully," he kept repeating. "I think there's been a mistake." But nobody listened. The door behind him sealed shut with a heavy hiss. They dragged him into another chamber, colder and darker. He sat on a hard metal chair, shivering slightly. Minutes later, Princess Viral entered, alone. Her long cloak shimmered like stars. She sat across from him, folding her hands calmly. "You have entered the sacred binding circle," she said softly. "During the Zurathi unity ceremony." "I didn't know," Eli answered. "I swear, I just got lost." "Intent does not matter," she said. "You crossed the sacred light during the final vow. According to Zurathi law, you are now my bonded mate." Eli stared at her. "You're saying we single quotes married?" Her expression didn't change. "Yes." Eli leaned back in his chair, trying to breathe. "I'm just an engineer. I fix pipes. I didn't mean to crash anything. I don't even know what a binding is." Viral studied him for a long moment. "Human customs are strange, but your accidental bond cannot be undone. Not without death." He swallowed hard. "Whose death?" "Mine." "Or yours," she replied. Eli's heart pounded. He had heard stories about the Zurathi, warriors, strict honor codes. People who took their traditions more seriously than war itself. If he insulted her now, things might end badly. Not just for him, but maybe for Earth's relationship with the entire Zurathi Empire. "I didn't want this," he said slowly. "But I don't want you to die either." Her eyes softened slightly. "Then we have a path forward. But what does this bond mean?" "I mean, I'm not ready for some kind of alien marriage." She stood. "You will not be required to share chambers, nor will you be touched without consent. But from now on, you are officially recognized as the first consort of House Viral." Eli stood too, nervously. "Can I go home?" "Not yet," she said. "You are now a figure of importance. Your presence will be required at my side during diplomatic missions and official events." He groaned. "Great, so I went to fix a broken pipe, and now I'm married to an alien princess." Viral paused. "You say that like it is a punishment." "I don't even like attention," he muttered. She smiled faintly. "You may find it's not as terrible as it seems." Outside the station, warships started gathering, not from Earth, not from the Zurathi, but from the Krovuan, a violent species known for breaking treaties. Their arrival had nothing to do with Eli, but now that he was married to the Zurathi princess, he would become the center of a conflict that might start a galactic war, and no one, especially I, was ready for what came next, Ele followed Princess Viral down the long hallway. Tall guards in silver armor walked beside them, silent and alert. Every alien they passed bowed to her, but stared at Eli with confusion or quiet laughter. He felt like a pet in a royal parade. "This is crazy," Eli whispered. "You can't just keep me here." Viral didn't look at him. "You are not a prisoner. You are my bonded consort." "There is a difference," Eli sighed. "Yeah, the difference is I'm not allowed to leave." She finally turned her head toward him. "There are Kravuan warships gathering near the border. If they discover our bond, they might see it as an excuse to strike. You being here keeps the peace for now." He frowned. "How does me being married to you stop a war?" "In our culture," she explained, "a marriage with another species is rare and sacred. If the Kravuan attack during a holy bonding season, they risk shaming themselves in the eyes of the other empires. That's all that's stopping them? For now." Eli looked around. The station was massive. Everything was alien, sharp, clean, and quiet. He felt small and out of place. His tool belt was gone, so was his freedom. But more than that, he had no idea who to trust. They entered a circular chamber. Dozens of alien nobles stood waiting. Some had scaled skin, others wore masks, and a few had glowing tattoos. The room fell silent as Viral walked in. All eyes turned to Eli. A tall noble with red markings on his neck stepped forward. "This is the human?" he asked, voice full of doubt. "Yes," Viral replied. "His name is Eli Carter." "He looks weak." Eli raised a brow. "Nice to meet you too." Some nobles chuckled. The red-marked one did not. "If you think the Kravuan will be scared by this creature, you are mistaken." "He is not a warrior," Viral said calmly, "but he is mine. And by Zarithi law, he is to be respected." Eli watched her closely. She didn't flinch, she didn't waver. In front of all these powerful beings, she stood tall for him, a complete stranger. He felt a strange mix of confusion, gratitude, and fear. As the meeting continued, he stood silently at her side. He didn't understand half of what was said. Military movements, treaty points, ceremonial rules, none of it made sense. But what he did notice was the tension. Every alien in that room was preparing for war, even if they didn't say it out loud. After the meeting, Viral walked with him to a private balcony. The stars stretched endlessly across the sky. Far in the distance, lights blinked Kravuan ships. "You hate this," she said softly. Eli leaned on the railing. "I don't belong here. I'm just a guy who fixes broken engines." "But you are here," she said. "And that means something." He looked at her. "You could have had the guards throw me out. Annul the bond. Say it was an accident." "I could have," she agreed. "Then why didn't you?" She hesitated. "Because the bond chose you, and because something inside me said not to." Eli shook his head. "You don't even know me. I know enough. You didn't run. You didn't insult me. You didn't mock our ways. That's more respect than I get from some of my own people." They stood in silence for a while. Then she said something that made him tense. "There's another reason I need you." He looked over. "What now?" "The Kravuan ambassador has requested to meet with me, alone. But if you attend, as my consort, they must treat you as part of our royal court. That changes the balance. They would have to speak more carefully." "And what do you want from me?" "Say something wise. Make a speech." She gave a rare smile. "Just stand beside me and look like someone who can't be broken." He laughed dryly. "You're out of luck then." "I don't think so," she replied. Suddenly, a come alert echoed through the sky window. A small drone flew toward them, projecting an urgent message in red letters. "The Kravuan ambassador has arrived early." Viral read aloud. "He is demanding an audience in 20 minutes. Eli looked at her. "You ready?" Viral's golden eyes met his. "The question is, are you?" The stars outside blinked again. closer this time. The Kravuan weren't just coming to talk. Something else was moving behind them. Something that had waited for the perfect moment. And that moment was now. Ele stood in front of a tall mirror. A servant was wrapping him in a strange robe made of glowing threads. It felt too soft, too fragile. He pulled at the collar nervously. This makes me look like a glowing blanket. Viral stood nearby, fully armored, her crystal suit reflecting the soft light. It is ceremonial fabric. Only the consorts of royalty wear it. I look like I should be floating in zero gravity with incense. She stepped closer. You look like someone important. That's what matters. The doors opened. 2 Zarethi guards stepped in. One of them spoke quickly in their native language. Viral nodded and turned to Eli. The Kravuan ambassador is waiting in the glass hall. He brought his war chief with him. Ella raised an eyebrow. That doesn't sound like peaceful diplomacy. It isn't, she said. They're testing. U.S. As they walked to the hall, Eli whispered, "What if I mess this up?" "You won't," she said simply. "You're human. And humans are unpredictable. That makes you dangerous to them." Eli muttered under his breath. Not sure being weird counts as a weapon. The glass hall shimmered like ice. It had no walls, just transparent energy shields holding in air. Stars blinked all around them. The floor beneath their feet was clear. Revealing the endless black below. In the center stood the Kravuan ambassador. He was tall, his skin like burned stone, his eyes glowing green. Beside him stood a much larger figure, his war chief, who wore heavy armor and carried a weapon that looked more like a cannon than a blade. Eli and Viral approached. No one bowed. The Kravuan did not believe in such things. "I greet you," the ambassador said, voice deep and rough. "I expected only the princess," Viral answered calmly. "You address both of us." "Eli Carter is my bonded mate." The war chief growled softly. "He is small." Eli gave a tight smile, but loud. The ambassador's face twisted slightly. Not a smile, but something close. "Strange creature. You walked into power by accident. Now you stand among stars. That is either destiny or a joke," Eli shrugged. "Maybe both." Viral stepped forward. "You requested a meeting. Speak your purpose." The Kravuan ambassador's tone darkened. "Your presence near our border offends us. We see your fleets. We see your plans. The Zarethi prepare for war while hiding behind this ... human. You mistake defense for offense," Viral replied. "And he is not a shield. He is my choice." The war chief stepped forward. "Then let him prove it, in combat." Everyone went silent. Eli blinked. "What?" "If he is truly your mate, let him fight for your honor," the war chief growled. Viral stepped in quickly. "He is not a warrior. Your request is dishonorable," the ambassador sneered. "Then perhaps your bond is weak. A staged lie to cover." Zarethi fear. Eli looked at Viral. Her hands were clenched. Her breathing slowed. She was angry but trying not to show it. He cleared his throat. "What kind of combat?" The war chief smiled. "Simple trial, 1 round. You win, you prove your worth. You lose, your princess admits the bond is false." Viral looked at Eli sharply. "You don't have to do this." "I know," he said. "But if I don't, we both lose face, right?" She didn't answer. Eli stepped forward. "Let's get it over with." A small ring was formed on the transparent floor. The war chief pulled out a blade the size of Eli's arm. A second blade, much smaller, was handed to Eli. He held it awkwardly. The fight began. Eli didn't know how to fight with a blade. But he knew how to duck, how to move fast, how to think on his feet. The war chief swung with power, but he was slow. Eli rolled, dodged, and used the chief's size against him. Then he did something strange. He laughed. The Kravuan paused for half a second, confused. Eli grinned. Sorry, you just remind me of my high school gym coach. That moment was all he needed. Eli slid under the chief's legs, turned, and tapped his blade against the back of the armored knee. A soft chime rang. The rules had been met. Eli had landed a blow. The fight was over. The Kravuan chief stood still, stunned. Then he slowly nodded. Unusual method, but valid. Eli stepped back, heart pounding. I'll take that as a compliment. The ambassador looked at him with new eyes. Perhaps you are not a joke after all. Varal stood beside him. She didn't smile, but her voice held pride. You challenged a Kravuan and survived. That is something even our warriors fear. Eli looked down at the blade still in his hand. I'm not sure I won, but I'm glad I didn't die. But deep in the shadows of space, something worse than the Kravuan watched the scene. And it didn't care about bonds, honor, or ancient laws. It only wanted one thing: Kalan Chaos. 2 days had passed since Eli's fight with the Kravuan war chief. The footage of the match had already spread across 3 systems. Aliens who had never heard of Earth were now talking about the accidental human consort, who fought with no training and still won. Eli hated the attention. Wherever he went on the station, eyes followed him. Some curious, others amused. A few respectful. He stayed close to Princess Varal, not because he trusted her completely, but because she was the only one who didn't treat him like a circus animal. They sat together in a private chamber, reviewing data on a glowing screen. The Kravuan fleet had moved back slightly, but a new threat had appeared. Varal pointed at the screen. The ship. Unknown markings, no known registry. It appeared after your duel. Eli leaned in. That's not one of yours? No, and it's not Kravuan either. He frowned. Then who is it? She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, there are species in this galaxy that feed on conflict. They wait for cracks in peace treaties, then offer ... weapons, or death. War. Dealers, worse. Chaos engineers. Eli looked back at the screen. The ship wasn't large, but it was close, too close. And it wasn't moving like a normal patrol vessel. It was drifting slowly, watching. What do they want from us? Varal stood. They want to make sure your marriage starts a war. Alile blinked. That's insane. To them it's strategy. Suddenly, the lights in the room flickered. Then a sharp alarm rang through the station. Red warning symbols flashed across every wall. Breach detected, a robotic voice said. Sector 7. Unauthorized teleport signature. Varal was already moving. That's near the diplomatic wing. Come with me. They rushed down the corridor. Guards followed behind them. As they reached the security chamber, screens lit up with live footage. One showed a figure cloaked in black walking calmly through a sealed hallway. Eli stared. Is that ... a person? Varal narrowed her eyes. No, that's an infiltrator drone wearing skin. The figure suddenly turned toward a camera and smiled. Then it raised one hand and the camera went dark. Get the diplomats out of that wing. Varal ordered. The guard commander replied, too late. The doors are locked. System override from inside, Eli pointed. That ship. It must have sent the thing. They're trying to kill your council. Varal turned to him. If they die, the treaty collapses. The Kravuan will attack within hours. Eli took a step back. Okay, so how do we stop it? Varal looked at the commander. Give him clearance. He's coming with me. The commander looked shocked. But he's faster than you, she said. And he already survived. The Kravuan, let's go. Eli grabbed a stun rod from a weapon locker and followed her. Just so we're clear, I don't know what I'm doing. Then follow my lead, she replied. They reached Sector 7 in minutes. The doors were fused shut with some kind of acid. Varal used her armor to punch through the melted panel. Inside, smoke filled the air. Screams echoed down the hallway. The Cloaked figure stood in the middle of the chamber, surrounded by fallen guards. Its hand shimmered with energy. "You are not Zurithi," it said without turning. "And yet you wear their mark." Eli held up the stun rod. "I'm just the husband." It turned toward him slowly. Its eyes were wrong, completely black with no light. "That is the point. Your existence is the crack. Through you, everything will fall." Viral attacked first, striking fast. Her blade met the figure's arm, but it didn't bleed. It absorbed the hit and countered with a burst of sonic energy that knocked her back. Eli rushed in, swinging wildly. The figure caught his arm. "So weak," it hissed, but Eli wasn't aiming to kill. He was aiming to distract. Viral struck again, this time from behind, slamming her blade deep into its back. Sparks exploded from its body. It screeched in a high-pitched sound, flailing. Eli fell to the floor as it collapsed beside him, twitching. The room was silent. Viral helped him up. "Are you hurt?" He checked his arm. "Only my pride." Guards rushed in seconds later. The diplomats were found alive, though shaken. The attack had failed. But the message was clear. Someone wanted Eli's bond to start a war. Back in her quarters, Viral stared at the stars through the glass wall. "This was not an accident," she said. "You walking into the circle, the infiltration ... The unknown ship, someone planned all this." Eli sat beside her. "Why me?" "I don't know yet," she said, "but they're afraid of you." He laughed softly. "They should be. I'm terrible at diplomacy, and I hit people with metal sticks." She turned to him. "Don't joke." He looked into her eyes. "I'm not." Outside the station, the dark ship powered down its stealth field. Inside, something ancient, calculating, watched the station. Its voice echoed across space, too low for any normal creature to hear. "The first step is complete." Eli sat in a dark room, staring at the table in front of him. He wasn't tied up, but it still felt like a prison. A dozen high-ranking Zurithi officials stood around the room. All of them whispered in their own language. None of them looked pleased. They were arguing over him. Viral stood by the door, silent. Her arms were crossed. Her face was calm, but her jaw was tight. She had fought to bring him here, not to protect him, but to prove a point. "He's a security risk," said one of the officials. "This marriage was an accident. Dissolve it. Send him back to Earth." "If we send him back now," Viral replied, "it will look like weakness. The Kravuan will take it as fear. The Chaos ship will see it as victory." Another voice cut in. "Then hide him. Keep him out of sight." Eli finally spoke. "You know I'm sitting right here, right?" The room went quiet. He stood slowly. "I didn't ask for this. I didn't want to be anyone's consort. But I'm here now. And whether you like it or not, I'm the reason a dozen diplomats are still alive." No one responded. But Viral stepped beside him. "The enemy chose him for a reason," she said. "They see something we don't. We must learn what it is before they strike again." A silent vote passed among the officials. One by one, they turned away and left. No congratulations, no apology. Just cold acceptance. When the door closed, Viral finally exhaled. "You handled that well." "I was 2 seconds from throwing the table," Eli muttered. "You should have," she said. "Might have scared them into listening faster." He looked at her. "You trust me now?" "I trust your instincts," she answered. "And I think we're being watched." Eli paused. "Right now?" "Yes, come with me." They moved through the quieter parts of the station, far from the political wings. Viral led him to the observation deck. The room was empty, dark, and surrounded by glass walls that showed the endless stars. She handed him a data pad. "This is from your fight with the infiltrator. We recovered the drone's memory core." Eli scrolled through the images. Most of it was static. But then he found something strange. A recorded message, just 5 seconds long. A voice, A sentence spoken in perfect English. The false bond will tear her kingdom apart. Eli looked up. They're not just attacking the Zarethi. They're targeting you, Varal nodded. And they're using you to do it. But why? What do I have to do with your throne? She turned away. Because I am not just the first princess. I am heir to the empire. And the only one who refused to marry for political power. Realization hit him. They think you're weak because you bonded with a human. She nodded once. And now, some in my court want to use that to force me aside. If they can prove I'm unfit, they can replace me. Eli stepped closer. But if we prove this marriage was part of their plan to start a war, then you win? Yes, she said. But we need evidence, real proof. And only one place holds it. Let me guess, he said. That creepy ship outside? She smiled faintly. You're learning, he frowned. Let me guess something else. You want me to go on board? Not alone, she replied. But yes. If they targeted you, they'll expect you. That gives you us an advantage. Small one, he muttered. Sometimes a small move changes the game. Later that cycle, under cover of a fake systems failure, a single shuttle launched from the Zarethi station. It held 2 passengers, one princess in combat armor, and one human in a borrowed pressure suit still struggling to zip it up. The enemy ship drifted like a dead whale in space. No lights, no response, no defense field. It was daring them to enter. Inside, the air was cold and stale. The lights flickered dim blue. Strange symbols glowed along the walls, none of them from any known language. But the moment Eli stepped aboard, the walls pulsed once, like they recognized him. This place gives me the creeps, he whispered. Varal didn't speak. She held her weapon ready, scanning every shadow. They passed through narrow corridors. At the center of the ship, they found what they weren't expecting. A room full of pods, hundreds of them. And inside each one humans. Eli's heart froze. What is this? They're cloning them, Varal said. Voice low. Suddenly, a screen lit up. A face appeared. Smooth, pale, emotionless. Not human, not machine, something between. You were not supposed to see this, it said. Eli stared. Who are you? We are the architects. And your story ends here. Asterisk. The face on the screen didn't blink. It spoke like a machine, but every word was sharp with meaning. We are the architects. Long ago, we shaped the paths of empires. War is a tool. Peace is a delay. Conflict brings truth. Eli stepped closer. You cloned humans. For what? Invasion? No, the voice replied. To replace you, the original, the Chaos Key. Varal raised her weapon. He's no key. He's just an engineer, the screen flashed. Exactly. That is why he is dangerous, because he doesn't follow rules. He changed the outcome of our simulation. Eli pointed at the pods. You were trying to build copies of me? Yes, ones we could control. But they didn't work, he said, because I'm not just a formula. Because you chose, the voice said. You chose to fight, to speak, to stay. You corrupted the pattern. The lights around them dimmed. A deep hum shook the walls. Varal grabbed Eli's arm. They're powering up. This ship is alive. Eli looked at the pods. We can't leave them like this. They're not real, she said. They're close enough. Without warning, the ceiling cracked open, revealing a machine long, spindly, and floating with silent intent. Its many arms glowed with energy. It dropped between them like a spider. You cannot stop the process, it said. Eli ran forward, drawing the only weapon he had, a power tool clipped to his belt. He swung it hard into the side of the machine's frame. Sparks flew. Varal fired her weapon at the same time, hitting a core buried in the middle. The machine shuddered, then collapsed into smoke and oil. The lights flickered again. Alarms screamed. The screen showed the architect's face one last time. You broke the pattern, it said, but you have not won. Others are coming. This is only the first page. Then the screen went black. Eli and Viral ran. They moved through fire, through falling beams, through corridors that collapsed behind them. They reached the shuttle just as the enemy ship began to crack apart. Back aboard the Zarethi station, Eli stood before the council once more. But this time he wasn't silent. They tried to use me, he said. They cloned me. Not to help humanity but to tear your empire apart, but I chose to fight. Not because I'm Zarethi. Not because I'm some hero. But because you gave me a reason to care. Viral stood beside him. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. The council was silent. Then, for the first time, they bowed not to her, but to both of them. Later, in her private chamber, Viral poured 2 cups of a golden drink and handed one to Eli. You saved more than just me, she said. He shrugged. I hit a robot with a wrench. You stopped a war. He raised his cup. Not bad for someone who walked into the wrong room. She smiled, a real one this time. The architects will return one day. But when they do, we'll be ready. He looked out the glass wall at the stars. You really think I'm the key to all this? I don't know, she said. But I do know you're not leaving. He laughed. Because of the marriage? Because you matter now. He turned to her. So, are we actually married? She leaned forward, voice calm. Do you want to be? Eli didn't answer right away. He looked at her, this warrior princess who had stood beside him, fought with him, nearly died with him. He thought about Earth, about his quiet life, about everything he didn't know. Then he smiled. Yeah, he said. I think I do. And for the first time, Viral didn't speak as a soldier, or a leader, or a princess. She just said the simplest words in the galaxy, then you're home. Outside the station, stars spun in silence. Somewhere in the darkness, 1,000 eyes watched. But for now, the galaxy was quiet, and the human who walked in at the wrong time was exactly where he was meant to be.